And we just want to take a few minutes and talk to you about our client attraction system. One of the biggest mistakes that we made going into our business was trying to do so many things, trying to have so many funnels, trying to have so many assets in our business where that actually took money out of our pocket. So what we want to do is just show you the simplicity of the stuff that we're doing that you guys and gals can implement into your business so that you can start increasing your revenue starting now. So Taylor, let's go ahead and jump right in, give them the nuts and bolts of this and what exactly we're doing that they can replicate in their own business.
Cool. So step number one is really choosing to go opposite of the mainstream. We've all been taught that you need to make a tripwire funnel and have multiple products that you can sell for low end up to the high end. And the thing that we do that's different than a lot of other people is we focus on one, and it's two prongs. So you focus on one person and one offer. And what we found is that when we started focusing on one offer rather than a million different product lines and a million different funnels, our
Mm,
business very quickly went from $30 to $40,000 a month up to 100K plus per month in revenue. And that's the main thing that you need to start off right at the beginning is who is that one person that is really, really like dialed into what you can do? What are their problems? What is their goal? What is the solution? And then creating that one offer. You just need one offer and you need one system to grow your business to 100,000, 150,000, $250,000 per month. And what happens is really psychological is you've got all these people who are competing with each other and they've got a million different products and a million different price points and everything becomes a price game, right? And you have to
yeah.
compete based on price. And when you focus on that one thing and that one person, you become like the neurosurgeon in your field, in your industry. And no longer are you competing on price. You're
Right.
competing based on the value of the
Mm,
solution that you're providing your clients. So step number one is really just being ruthless about refusing to cater to the pressure of making a tripwire funnel and a million different offers and just get one person who has really one big struggle and then make something that solves their pain and build a
mm,
system around that, right?
yeah. Yeah, and that's something that we have realized is just really identifying the person, the business that we can bring the most value to,
Mm,
right? Who has that huge pain in their business that we can actually help them get results, which is important, right? Like you actually have to be able to help them. You actually have to be an expert, help them get results in their life or their business to be able to charge higher prices, which obviously at the end of the day helps you increase your monthly revenue. But
yep.
if you don't have that focus, if you don't have that specialization, then you do not have the ability, you don't have the permission to be able to charge high prices, right? That will ultimately increase your revenue. So it goes from you being a commodity in your marketplace, in your industry, to being the specialized
Yep.
neurosurgeon, like Taylor's talking about.
Love it. Awesome. So after you have this one person and this one offer and their pain kind of dialed in correctly, the next step is something we call creating your hook. And I'm not talking about the hook that a lot of copywriters talk about, where you got that hook that's just like this huge, amazing, powerful, direct response headline hook. But you want to have an angle that can offer a solution, a results in advance type solution for your prospect. So
Yeah.
let's just give an example real fast. If you are, let's say you're in the dating niche and you have a marketing avatar that is someone who struggles with finding a wife or finding a spouse or whatever, and they're maybe past the age of 30, under the age of 40. You get specific about that person. You create a hook that basically says, the five simple steps you can do every single day, guaranteed to get you a spouse in the next 12 months, something like that, where your your perfect avatar is actually going to see that headline, that hook, and they're not going to think BS. They're not going to think, yeah, right, I've heard of this all before. They're going to actually be attracted to it and they're going to want to come into your marketing to learn the results and to learn the solution that you're offering to provide for them. And so we get into a lot of different, help with this with our clients and creating the hooks for them. But to be honest with you, the hook is just something you have to spend a little bit of time on, thinking through, dialing into what is it that your market needs, what is it that they want, and you have to test it. I mean, Chris, how many hooks have we really tried to play with before
Yeah,
getting one that worked? I mean,
a
it's a
lot.
process, right?
Yeah,
So there's not an easy, 20-minute fix. There's not like an overnight solution with this. There's just nothing that can replace that good old-fashioned time and sitting down and putting this together. Anything to add on that, Chris?
no. Well, besides the fact of when you get this dialed in, it's extremely powerful in your business, and it's really all about alignment, right? It's about aligning that message with the people that you're working with, your most ideal client and prospect, aligning that message with their biggest pain. And
Yeah,
when you get that alignment, it's extremely powerful in attracting those people to your business,
yeah,
which is what most people don't have in place. They don't have that attraction mechanism.
yeah, yeah. And you'll notice all these things are sequential. The
Yeah,
better you do at identifying your person and your offer, the easier it's going to be to create the hook. And the
yeah,
easier it's going to be to create the steps after that. So as we take you through this process, just remember that we started with that one person and that one problem for a reason. The better you can do that, the easier everything else becomes. All right.
yeah.
So what's next after the hook?
So what's next is what we call the stack method. Okay, so this is the point where you've gotten your hook, you know your person, your business that you're focusing on, and it's about delivering a presentation, a mechanism where you are able to position yourself as the expert. So simply what this looks like is you have an email that goes out to them, whether you have a list or they've opted in via paid traffic, whatever it might be, an email that attracts them to your presentation, which would be what we prefer as a webinar. They attend that webinar and basically go through this stack method into the point where if they don't attend the webinar, we don't send replays, right? What we do is we have another follow-up email that puts them back through the cycle of the hook, right? Because we want that presentation, that webinar, to do all of your heavy lifting. That's the thing that is really the powerful piece of this puzzle, because it breaks down their current false system of belief about what they're doing to get results and that it's not working, and then gives you the ability to position yourself as the expert and to rebuild that system of belief on how they can actually achieve success and get that major breakthrough in their life. So when you implement this, it's super powerful in positioning you as the expert, which is what most consultants and coaches and experts don't have. They don't
Yeah.
have that positioning like
Yeah.
something like this. And this is probably going to be more powerful than any other piece of content that you can put out there in regards to you being positioned as the go-to neurosurgeon in your marketplace.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit of numbers to how people can know if their hook is correct or their stack is correct. So uh, the way that you can really look at the system and make sure that it's correct is if you have, Chris mentioned if people aren't watching your presentation, they're getting pushed back into the hook, right? So you got
Yeah,
this, flywheel of people being pushed through so they do what you want them to do. If you have more than 50% of the people that come through this process not watching the presentation and being pushed back through here to this hook, it means there's something wrong with your hook.
hmm
So you can see how not only is this system sequential, it's also a little bit self-tuning and self-optimizing to where at the end of the day, you can look at your numbers. And if you're not getting at least 50% of people consuming this content here, then your hook
yeah,
is probably incorrect. And we've seen people who have phenomenally effective hooks in that they get opt-ins,
yeah,
but they're attracting the wrong caliber of prospect.
right,
That means there's a problem with the hook because they'll get a lot of opt-ins. They may get a 40%, 50% opt-in, and then only 10% of those people actually watch the presentation. And that is not going to make you money. And so you
yeah,
want to really rehearse and dial in the hook and the stack to where at least 50% of the people who go through here are actually consuming the content here. If
right,
they're not, then you've got a problem with the hook and you just need to go back and kind of test that.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what's next after they go through this is something that we call the screen. All right, this is one of the most important parts of this process because you do not want to spend your time on the phone with everybody in the world, right? That's going to completely lower and devalue the value of your time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different psychological things in play here when someone comes through and they have to apply to work with you. You know, most people who work with clients, who have client businesses, they are so hungry to work with everybody that they can that actually works against them.
Mm.
And there's no attraction, right?
Yeah.
If everything you do is going outbound and going and being like, hey, can I talk about how to help you with your business? Or hey, can I talk about how to help with your weight loss? There's no attraction there. People are actually turned off by that. And so what this application does is it does two things. One, it protects your time. That's super important. You do not want to be spending time on the phone with people who are not likely to become clients. So number one, it protects your time. And number two, it reverses the dichotomy. It flips the whole supply and demand thing upside down to where people now realize that working with you is an opportunity. It's not an entitled privilege. It's something that they have to actually apply for and they have to put their best effort for. And when you do this, it will change everything about your business. Everything.
Yeah, it changes the positioning because most experts out there, most coaches and consultants are shoving their business cards in people's faces every opportunity they can, almost like an MLM,
Yep.
right? But when you change this, it's people applying to work with you. Like they're hoping after you've done the right things on the front end of this simple funnel, is being at the place positioned to where people are hoping that you are going to take them on as a client, right?
Yep.
Again, going back to the idea of if there's something wrong with your body and you need a specialist, that person has a long waiting list of people who need their help, right? So you are hoping that they're going to take you on, that doctor's going to help you in getting that issue fixed. And it's the same thing in your business with your expertise. You be in position so these people are hoping that you're going to take them on as a client, and it just totally changes the game for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels good, honestly.
Yeah.
It actually feels amazing. I mean, to have control over something like this. Back in the day when we both did freelance, Chris, we both had to go out and find our own clients on our own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a struggle all the time because we had no control over next month's income. Unless you get a client on like retainer for 12 months,
Yeah.
you have no stability and you're up and down and it just is a wreck, man. And it's like
Yeah.
when you actually have this system and you have achieved mastery over this system like we have, then
Yeah.
you can project and guarantee, $100, $200 plus $1,000 a month in income because you just know how many numbers you need to hit. You know how many
Yeah.
applications you need to have. You know how many people you need to be going through the stack, and you can really reverse engineer everything to where you control the outcome of the machine, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So once people go through this screening, you can see some people are going to make it through, some people are not. But realistically, what number you want to have for this application is you just want to have about 15% of people who are on the stack, who attended the presentation, who attended the content, about 15% of those people going through to schedule an appointment with you. What does this mean? This means if you have less than 15% on average, then there's something wrong with the stack, right? So this is completely sequential. I mean, this system, there's nothing like it in that it will tell you what parts are broken and what parts need to be improved. So if less than 15% are scheduling and going through that application process, then you need to look at your presentation. You need to make sure that it's really dialed in. You need to make sure that it's on point, so you can get that number up to 15%. And then about 50% of those people that apply typically are going to be qualified, right? So about 50% are going to make it through, 50% are not, right? So all of a sudden, even now, the value of your time just doubled.
Yeah.
Because you're not talking with unqualified people, And then this part right here, it's called the close. And you're only going to do this with qualified people, right, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is at the place where you've had a conversation with someone who is qualified to work with you, to where you've dialed into where they're at in their life and their business. You've uncovered the pain, which is going to lead them to the place where they want to work with you. And then you get to that point, you get to that crescendo, right? And it's a beautiful thing to where the opportunity is there for them before them to basically for you to take them on as a client, and it's all leading to that process where you're not being some slimy salesperson. It's just leading them through the conversation of identifying their pain, identifying and then recognizing that you truly can help them get results, and then you just inviting them to work with you.
Yeah.
And this is how you really are able to predict your revenue and break it down to the point to where however much you want to grow it every single month, it's all about increasing all sequentially all these numbers to get to the six-figure a month mark or wherever you want to go in your business. It's just about dialing in these things, and that's why Taylor, why we love the simple funnel, right? And that's what we call it. We call it the simple funnel because we've tried the complexity. Taylor is an unbelievable funnel builder, and people have, paid a lot of money for us to build ridiculous, funnels where you just need something very simple that you can focus on, know every part of it, so you can break it down to make sure that it's working for your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have, part of our process is really teaching people how to facilitate this close, how to script out your conversations to where you're being not pushy and above board and authentic and truthful. And there are a lot of bad sales guys out there in the world, and you've probably dealt with them and experienced the pressure of being on a phone call with them. But this close is really about leadership and about really helping people uncover what's holding their business back and then helping them get to the next level, right? So we kind of, we walk our clients through that. And one of the things we're not going to talk about today on this video, except to mention it maybe briefly, is Facebook. Once you have this system put in place, hopefully you can see how when you can start dumping in paid traffic into something like this, you get control over the outcome over here. So if we want to make, $20,000 extra the last week of the month to hit our numbers, we know exactly how much money we need to spend on Facebook, exactly how many leads we need to go through our hook, exactly how many conversations we need to have on the close to pull in an extra 20 grand to hit our numbers. Yeah. If we want to do, maybe we're going on vacation and we only have 2 weeks to work out of the month. If we want to condense down our month's revenue in the first 2 weeks, we know exactly what we need to do up here to push the revenue down here at the back end. Yeah. So this process is literally a machine that can do that for you. So let's talk real fast just about why this works. There are really 4 main reasons, and then we'll get into a little bit more specifics on how you can actually take this model and go ahead and plug it into your business today. But first, the first real reason why this model works, and we talked about it at the beginning, is because it's so focused. What happens, Chris, if you're driving a car and you're driving to go, you're trying to push on the gas and push on the brakes at the same time?
Doesn't work.
Doesn't do anything. Or if you are trying to drive a car in 2 different directions at once, or if you're trying to, you take a glass of sweet tea, because I'm from the South, and you pour some water in it, it dilutes the whole thing, right? And that's the problem. People know this inherently. They know that splitting their time is going to dilute the potency of their time. But then when it gets to business, they think it's so complicated, and they overcomplicate it to the point where they're basically pouring water in the sweet tea. They're basically doing so many things that it's so diluted. And the reason this system works is because your time is so focused and it's so potent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we found that to be true with us. It's less stressful to be focused. It's more effective to be focused. It's more fun to be focused. We make more money when we're focused. I mean, we can go on and on and on. But reason number 1 is you got to focus your time. You got to drill down on your time, right? Yeah. Number 2 is it's inbound. And Chris, talk to us about this, because honestly, you're the best traffic guy that I've ever met. So what's the point of being inbound? What's the difference?
Well, it's again, it goes back to the positioning. You don't have neurosurgeons going out there hitting the streets, right, beating the streets to get patients. No, they are positioned. Again, that's their key word, for people to come to them. And so it changes the whole outlook of the client, of the patient. And so when people are coming into you, it just changes the whole script. It flips the script to where, so many people before might say, okay, I need you to prove yourself to me, or I need you to prove that you're the best. But when they're coming through this process, it changes that to where they have to prove why they are qualified to work with you, right?
Yeah.
So it just, I mean, it really changes your positioning as a true expert. Again, you have to be a true expert, and you have to really know how to get people results. And if you do, it's about that attraction as opposed to going out. So you want people to come to you, and it eliminates the time factor of going out, right? Which
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
When you're able to only talk to people who are the most ideal and qualified prospects, what happens? Your revenue goes like this. Not only that, but you're able to help your true clients get big, massive results, which is important.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. The third thing is something that we talked about a little bit earlier, but it's supply and demand. So let's go back to economics real fast. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but what happens when more people want, the can of beans on the shelf than there are cans of beans on the shelf? Price goes up, right?
Yep.
What happens when there's a shortage of oil? The cost of
Yep.
gas goes up. And so supply and demand is something that normally in economics it balances and checks itself out. But in business, you actually have the ability with a system like this to control the supply and demand. And the
Mm.
implications of that are huge. Because when
Yep.
you can make sure that the demand for you is larger than the supply of you,
Mm.
then you can charge way more money for the results that you can provide. And the
Yep.
best feeling in the world for me, for Chris, for any of our clients that work with us is having the line out the door and more people wanting in than you can reasonably facilitate.
Right.
And that's when you have absolute security. That's when you can really make the money you want to make. And that's when you have the peace of mind and the consistency in your income to not have to worry about it. And this system controls the supply and demand. It really
Yeah.
does. Right?
And it feels really, really good.
Feels amazing. I'll never go back to the old model of getting
Okay.
clients. Depending on referrals, random ups and downs, not knowing how people found me. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
just no control. You can't even take a vacation and enjoy it
Yep.
because you don't know what you're going to be doing in your business next month.
Yep.
So the fourth thing is scale. All right. And when we sit down, me and Chris, and when Chris is putting together, Chris does all of our Facebook, he's world class at being able to drive profitable paid traffic. This system gives us the ability to say, okay, we want to make a certain amount of money at the end of the month, so we need to spend a certain amount of money at the beginning of the month in traffic. And Chris, do you have anything to teach on the scalability factor of this model?
Yeah, well, it's about just initially knowing your numbers and having that consistency, right? So if I'm able to acquire a lead for a certain dollar amount, and that's consistent day over day, week over week, and then I know that people are coming through my stack, and I'm going to get 50% of those people, and then the 15% of those people are going to apply, right? Like in those numbers and they're consistent, then it's just about, okay, well, how many clients do I want? Really is what it comes down to, because it's almost like going to the faucet and turning it on. It's like, how much water do you want in your cup? Knowing your numbers and having it broken down with the simple funnel method that we're talking about gives you that ability. So guys and gals, if you're at 10 grand a month now, 20 grand a month at in your business, and that's something that you've probably plateaued at, you feel like you've hit a glass ceiling, when you implement this and you're saying, okay, I'm spending X amount on Facebook, I'm achieving X amount in new client business every month. Say, okay, well, if I want to double my business, I increase my ad spend, right?
Yep.
And so that's the power and what we're talking about in the control. The control of your business is probably something that I love about this more than anything. It's just knowing that we are in control of the consistency of our business growing
Yeah.
and continually hitting new heights, and just at the end of the day, working with people that we love, that we
Yeah.
can really help get results.
Yeah. Being able to turn people away if we don't like them or if they're not a good fit or things like that,
Yep.
which is something you can't do when you don't have money, when you have to take whoever is going to pay the bills.
Yep.
All right. So with the system, let's give some numbers just monetarily. So you guys, we've given you percentages and these are all accurate. We're giving you literally behind the scenes of our 6-figure a month business right here. But what are we spending in our average cost per lead? $5 to $10, Chris?
Yeah. So I mean, my KPI is probably about $5. Sometimes it's more than that because at the end of the day, guys, it's all about how much does it cost for you to acquire a customer. Like that's
Yeah.
really the only thing that matters. And so how you can defeat your competition is understanding that. Like that one thing can help you defeat your competition because even if it costs, $7 to acquire a lead, but that ultimately ends up being a customer, you're willing to spend that, but your competition's like, oh my God, like I've been told I should get leads for 50 cents. No, that is wrong. You can get a million
Crap
leads for
leads.
50 cents. Yeah, it doesn't mean that that's going to be money, right? It's not does not equate to revenue.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's about having an understanding of what actually equates to revenue. So $5 to $7 per lead is our KPI for an attendee, someone to actually attend our stack, our presentation is about $12, 12, $13. For someone to actually apply, so they actually fill out an application, they book a time on our calendar, we're looking about $75. And then Taylor, you give them the last number.
Yeah, so to actually get on the phone, talk to them about their business, take them through the close, which is a very specific script process we go through just to help people out with their business, and then enroll them as a client. We're spending approximately $400 to $600 per deal on that end. All right. Now we'll spend as much as $1,500 if we need to. We'll spend
Yep.
more than that. We'll spend $2,500, $3,500, $4,500 because our average client value is $6,000 or more. And so look at this process. We're spending $400 to $600 to make $6,000, right? And so this machine right up here, based on the numbers that you're able to produce from Facebook, which we kind of can walk you through, that is designed to get you to 10x at least from your
Yeah.
Facebook ad spend. So how many times, if you can have an investment deal and you can invest $600 and get $6,000 back within 48 hours, how many times are you going to do that?
As much as possible.
Freaking all day long, right?
Yeah.
So it's always amazing to me when people, they're doing all these different things and they're doing the tripwires and they're writing a book and they're doing all these things because listen, there's no type of return in the marketplace today that we know of that is producing these numbers.
Yep.
It just doesn't exist. And this model is pumping out 10 to 15, sometimes as much as 26, 27 times the money that's going into it, right? So if you want to make, let's say you want to make $100,000 on 1 month with your business, based on the numbers, you need to spend about $10,000 on Facebook, which is going to drive people through the hook, which is going to put them through the stack. It's going to pump out $100,000 worth of revenue. Doesn't get any easier than that, does it?
No, I mean it's amazing really when we're taught like the more complicated it is, then the better it'll work. And really it's opposite of that. And we've experienced that. Like we are guys who understand funnels to the fact where we've created complicated funnels and have not made any more money.
Yeah.
But when we like just simplified it and broke this process down and made it super easy, we made more money. I mean, it just is contrary to what we're taught by the gurus, and what we're taught to believe. But when you have it simplified, you can understand what's working and what's not, and that's like really valuable for your business.
Awesome. So let's talk about how you go to the next level in your business and kind of what it looks like if you want help from us.
Yeah.
It's super simple. There's no pressure. But you do have the ability to figure this out on your own if you want to take the long way. Just as kind of comes down to how much money you want to waste by not having these numbers and how much time you want to waste. Money you're always going to get back. So we're okay, Chris and I, with investing and experimenting with money. But the one thing you can't ever get back is time.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can really cut off of your learning curve. And I guarantee you the price, both in time and money, of figuring all this out on your own is probably exorbitantly more expensive than the price of getting help. And so What we want to do with you is, if you feel like this is something you could use for your business to get to the next level, which frankly, if you work with clients at all, it probably is something you could use with your business, because this is a client attraction system. Then we'll get on the phone with you and we'll talk to you about where you are. We vet everyone just because we're very serious about getting results. And if you're not a great fit, we'll tell you that you're not a good fit and we'll point you in the right direction. So we have to get on the phone with you just to talk about your business, figure out where you're at with everything, dial in a little bit to your goals just to make sure that we can actually help you. But once we do, our program is very, very specific in that, we're going to do a couple things right away. The first thing is we're going to focus on your niche and your one thing. Or we're going to dial in right up here on that one person and really getting you to a place where you can exclude the competition. You're no longer competing with people in your space. You are the undisputed king of your mountain, and you are set above on the top to where you're not competing based on price. You're only really in a market by yourself where there's no competition. That's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we build this stack system with you. So we're going to build the stack here, and our clients usually do this in the second phase, the second week of working with us, building that stack, building that inbound marketing system that Chris talked about, the inbound effect, where people can really come and view you as the expert, view you as the authority, and then get put on your calendar. And then the third week, which we actually build out with you, is Facebook paid marketing. Okay. So this is where you have the ability to, you've got your niche, you've got that one thing, you've got your stack. So you have the ability to put applications on your calendar at will. And then you've got Facebook traffic, which is the next level in any type of business, because you can control how many people are coming in to work with you. And so typically our clients, within 15 to 20 days are seeing applications start popping up on their calendar. It's the most amazing feeling you'll ever feel in business, is being able to control the dial on how many people are working with you. So this is a fast deal where, within 15 to 20 days, you're going to start seeing this system, this whole system in action, including Facebook, including the stack, including the close, and really having complete control over how much money you do at the end of each month. So if you're wanting to get to that $100,000 a month, or if you're wanting to get to that $83,000 a month, which is the 7-figure mark, you need to talk to us. You need to put down an application below so Chris and I can get on a call with you, talk about your business, and get you to the next level.
I'm just taking notes over here, man. It's so good.
Whatever. Anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, it's really, this is like when we implemented this into our business was a monumental change to where, we went from 10, 20, 30 grand a month to 6 figures a month. No hype, no BS. I mean, just the simplicity of this. But in the simplicity of it, obviously you have to make sure you have all the elements right. And that's why a conversation would give you guys value to see, okay, where are you at in your business right now? And how can you implement this? The quickest way for you, particularly to implement this in your specific business, to get 21 days to your application generation system, essentially, right? 21 days really would be the goal to where you have people applying to work with you. Consistently, day in, day out, week in, week out. When you have that in place in your business, that changes your life for the long term, to where you've got it in place where now it's just about scaling to however much I want to bring in revenue every month. So it's going from struggle to simplicity, and not knowing to consistency, knowing your income, knowing your revenue, and knowing every single month how many clients you're going to generate. So the next step is there'll be some information just to throw in the form below. Give us kind of some ideas of where you're at currently in your business. And listen, we're going to jump on the phone with you if this makes sense for your business, and it looks like you're a good fit. We can't take on everybody, obviously, but if it is a good fit for your business, we'll have a conversation with you, and basically talk to you about how this can work for your business specifically. And that's it.
Perfect. So if you want to work one-on-one with us to start putting applications on your calendar and making sales in your business within 15 to 20 days, apply below. Go ahead and do that now, because this is all time sensitive. and
Yeah.
it's first come, first serve. So we'll see you on the phone call, talk to you about your next steps, and have a great day.
All right. See you guys.